Lots of cheering erupting behind me. WGN and AP calling that Rauner has won. We believe he might be coming in at any time here, it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and step aside, let you guys listen into this chaos here tonight.
New technology always comes with a few glitches. We begin with an odd Guinness record. Are there any normal Guinness records, honestly?
No, not lately.
Well, a member of the greatest generation celebrates an even greater birthday.
The scene here is all but cleared in the 1000 block of South Court Street. As you can see, there's a tow truck now removing this dark blue SUV where a man was hit in a drive-by shooting earlier this afternoon. In a typical Rockford winter, the frost line below the ground reaches about 4 feet deep. But Public Works Director Tim Hansen says this year it's climbed to as deep as 5.5 feet, and it's causing major problems. As if the trip to the DMV isn't bad enough, dozens of stateliners made the trip out here to the State Street location only to be greeted with locked doors and a sign saying the building is condemned.
It was man versus nature this morning as firefighters battled wind and rain in Lake Somerset. Despite the construction, the first day of school will go on as planned. The first phase of work isn't expected to be finished until December.
As bad as this winter's been, it's
hanging on.
Yeah.
It's going to hang on for as long as it can.
Eventually.
The 30s feel like the 50s now anyway, so really, they do.
Yeah,
Until you get a 50
So
and then
right.
you go back to the
Today,
30s. Today, crews tore open the ground trying to repair a problem that's plaguing stateliners everywhere, frozen pipes.
The search is on.
I don't know if it's broke or is it just froze. We're thinking it's probably just froze up.
For the frozen water line that's closed down the East State Street DMV and 2 other businesses.
The water feed supplies this whole building, and it's frozen. The ground is frozen almost 5 feet deep, so it's very difficult to get through.
A pipe problem keeping contractors busy all winter.
We've been doing probably 3 or 4 a week for the last month.
In a typical Rockford winter, the frost line below the ground reaches about 4 feet deep. But Public Works Director Tim Hansen says this year it's climbed to as deep as 5.5 feet, and it's causing major problems.
We're starting to see a lot of people calling up with no water. They have a lot of frozen services.
And if a pipe bursts, use the Burpee Museum as an example of just what kind of mess it can create. Hansen says crews are trying to tackle 40 different cases of frozen lines, the most the city has ever dealt with that he can recall. But it's not a quick process.
To go through and try to unfreeze those, it's very labor intensive and it's a nightmare.
A nightmare being lived outside Rockford's busiest DMV. But it's one they say can be prevented.
Leave their faucets running, either a kitchen sink or a bathroom faucet trickling right now. It's supposed to get real cold again tonight, so it'd be a very good idea to leave it running. Otherwise, this is what you end up doing.
So some good advice there. Contractors told me they'd be out at the State Strip Mall all night trying to fix the problem. But if it turns out it's more than just a frozen pipe, it could be Monday before those businesses can reopen. It wasn't that long ago that women were not allowed to be firefighters at all, but times have changed, and at one state line firehouse, women are a big part of the team.
The boots, the hat, all the gear locked into place. But behind the mask isn't who you'd expect.
We're a very unique community, I guess.
Take a look around the Amboy Firehouse, and you'll notice things are
More organized and neater.
thanks to a feminine touch.
I was overwhelmed by the women that were on this department. You just don't see that a lot. What's next month?
And Shannon Glenn is one of them. 50 people make up the Amboy Fire Department staff. 25% of them are women.
We all play equal here.
But it wasn't always that way.
About 25 years ago, women weren't even allowed on the department just because our bylaws didn't allow them.
In 2014, it's a different story. Nearly every time an Amboy fire crew responds to an emergency, there's at least one woman on board.
We've had the car accidents and the falls and the trouble breathing. It can be anything, you never know.
And the physical demands can be extreme. I've suited up just to see how much the uniform alone weighs.
Step on the scale, and I'm now 188 pounds. That's an extra 60 pounds to lug around.
The guys will push us aside and let us, they will do all the heavy lifting, but they do look out for us, but we can do it.
They can also come in handy when a traumatized child needs a woman's touch or in smaller spaces.
I remember one time the guys put me in a car for an accident to take care of the patient while they were busily getting the car opened up so they could get the patient out.
A team that works together to protect its community while supporting each other.
It's just one big family.
It's a family. Everyone here is family.